Ah, yes, it's time to talk about the second coming of Christ. I mean, Michael Jordan, or, well, I find that obnoxious, in all honesty, but Anthony Edwards has definitely made a splash in the playoffs this year, and for the past couple seasons, he's been so fun to watch. That's why he played for Team USA. This is a Dwayne Wade jersey, but you know what? That comparison is there as well, take it or leave it. For those of you who are new, welcome to Balance Basketball Academy. I'm Jordan, a high school player turned college player turned trainer, and we're here to talk about the kind of training Anthony Edwards does in the summertime. Let's get to it. Really nice touch on those floaters. I think the biggest thing that people really struggle with on floaters, and I myself struggle with as well, is getting your hand under the ball and making sure you have enough push to actually get the shot into a position where it's not only has enough arc, but also enough strength to get to the rim. It's not a layup, it's not a jump shot, but you still have to get under it similar to a jump shot, and he does that really well here. Really solid form. Elbows all the way underneath. We're gonna just pause exactly when he does that. Right there. Look at where his elbow is. All the way underneath the ball. He's not doing this, right, for the angle there. He's not doing that, right? He's not shoving it. He's getting under it and pushing upwards that way. There we go. And he's shooting with the left hand as well, not just the right hand. A lot of people will feel like, well, I only really shoot floaters with my right hand in game, therefore that's what I'm going to practice. No, basketball is one of the few sports that requires ambidexterity to be elite. This guy is elite. And also on that finish, it still hit the rim, which is a bad thing, but because he got under it, it had a soft enough touch that it will give him a favorable bounce. And these floaters are from a decent distance as well. They are almost approaching from the free throw line / elbow, which for high school basketball players, you don't really need to be able to shoot a floater from that far away. That basically just turns into a jump shot for you. For NBA players, where everybody's so long and so quick, it's faster to get into a floater, and also everybody's range needs to be extended. You shoot threes from longer distances, you shoot tougher and longer distance mid-range, you shoot longer distance, touch finishes as well. It's good stuff, but the big thing I would say is that if you're just working on floaters, make sure you're in the paint and it's a fairly close shot before you start working on nearly free throw line floaters, because those get a lot tougher to make, especially when they become touch shots, and trying to get enough under the ball just gets a little bit more difficult. But again, for him, great stuff. This is the kind of stuff you want to see. 2-foot floaters have just as much importance as 1-foot floaters because they have different purposes. A 2-foot floater, you pop your feet, you get up into your floater. It's a lot quicker, it's a lot more punchy. A 1-foot floater is somebody's, playing back on you after you come off of a screen, or the second line's not really willing to commit to kind of a midi shot, and then you rise up into that one-legged floater, because you're more likely going to have a softer touch with that. It's typically not something you're shooting when you're under duress. If you're on 2 feet, though, there's somebody who's pretty close to you, and you need to be able to quickly get into the floater without getting contested too difficultly or getting blocked. So the progression of this turns into a 1-footed kind of jump shot. It's not quite a floater because both hands are on the ball and there's a decent amount of control, but that 1-footed floater is going to throw defenses off because they're not expecting you to pull out of a jump shot off of 1 foot. This again is giving you that extra little second where you're pulling into this layup shot, because again, it's not really one or the other, so the defense has a really hard time of pinpointing exactly what it is and blocking your shot. Look at how fast he attacks out of that behind the back right there. He is not wasting any time at all. A lot of times when people go between the legs, they have a very hard time of going between the legs and then continuing in another direction rapidly, quickly. He's doing that just right off the cuff. He's going between the legs or behind the back, and you can barely even tell that he's doing those things. He's making that change of direction so seamless that good luck if you're a defender.
Good luck, everybody else!
The big thing that he's doing really well right now is that back foot is not stationary. While he's doing the move, he's actively pushing off with that back foot in the direction he wants to go. He's not doing a stationary between and then trying to explode out of it. When you're making a crossover move, you don't cross and then explode. You are exploding out of the cross. You're exploding out of behind the back move. If you can do kind of two things at once, you're going to be a lot quicker in general. That's also good right there. Having a trainer that's going to give you a decent contest, right? He's not going to go up there and try and block your shot or, be right in your face. But having a body in front of you while you're taking these mundane dribble pull-ups or, whatever, mundane for Anthony Edwards, because it just gets your brain used to seeing somebody in front of you while you're shooting as opposed to just having a wide open plains, just nothing out there. You can see to the horizon, jump shooting. This is a great drill. You can see this guy has already sweat through a t-shirt. He's put in a workout. He has been going for a little bit here, okay? Somebody give him a towel. And yet, they're having him shoot transition threes. There's nothing more killer to a defense than just stepping into a transition three like that. Because how do you defend that, after a turnover, after a long rebound or something like that? And this is the kind of stuff he practices, and he is a dead shot from the three game. Even though this is practicing, he's not pulling up into this three, right? He's practicing getting a catch and shoot because he needs to be able to do more things than just create his own shots. He needs to be able to catch into a shot that somebody else created for him or that a situation created for him. And now you're getting into the pull-up threes. So he's not neglecting pull-up threes. He's just shooting both of them because that's how you get better at becoming an all-around basketball player. You do more than just what your niche is. Okay, we have a high school Anthony Edwards in this video, but there's a couple really interesting little training things he does that show how he became the player that he has become now, and as he will continue to improve in the future, this is kind of where he started. So let's take a look. Here he is shooting in the mid-range without jumping. What that's going to do is make sure your shot is really smooth. There's no hitches in your shot. There's no, broken up bits. You're just smooth into the shot because your legs are not going to be able to make up for whatever issues you have in your upper body if you're not jumping. So that's what this training. It's just making sure it's really smooth. And Edwards he's got a very pretty jump shot and a very smooth jump shot, and that's shown even at this point in his career. This is him in high school, and he's knocking down threes like no problem as well. Now, it says the high school three-point line, but the thing is that you don't become a good three-point shooter by waiting to shoot threes until you're in college. And Edwards, he's a tall guy. He's a 6'6" to 6'8". I forget what his exact height is. He's pretty strong, pretty well built. It would be easy for him to just dunk on people and finish over people and neglect his jump shot, because at that level, he wouldn't really need it. But no, he's working on these jump shots. He's getting better at this skill that will help him into the next level. That would be college for him, and then eventually into the NBA, because, again, just because you're big and you can dunk over people who just got out of geometry class doesn't make you a good player. We saw Kyrie do this as well, but with Dodgeball Man. This trainer is holding like a dodgeball in his hand. This is a very strange drill. In this case, Edwards is using a basketball to bat away. Again, it's going to overload the system. It's going to put you in a position where you're doing these just V dribbles, V dribble cross, but you're adding an extra factor to it that's going to make it all the more difficult. Now we're moving. Wow, okay. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could ever do that. That's really a lot tougher than people think it is. Because you're not only having to move, but you're having to bat away a ball and do the same rhythm over and over and over again. That's really challenging stuff. That's the kind of stuff that's going to rework your brain a little bit to where it can handle more things at once while dribbling like you're breathing. Not thinking about what you're dribbling or how you're dribbling, but just dribbling. And the grocery bag has returned. If you guys caught the last video in Baller or Bogus, I was looking at some TikTok drills, and one of them had a guy wrap a grocery bag over a ball and dribble with it, saying that it would improve your feel. And as gimmicky as that sounds, it actually works because, again, you're going to lose a lot of feel with the ball. You're going to have that knob on there that's going to make it more difficult where the ball does some unpredictable things. And it's pretty accessible and pretty easy to do. Going to have to focus harder on getting a grip for the ball and making sure it's under control. You can make less mistakes because when you do make an error, you're not going to be able to just grip your way into bringing the ball back towards you. It's going to slip right out of your hands. And the second thing I'll say about the grocery bag is that the grocery bag is not so much of a stretch from what you actually would be doing in a game. When you're dribbling and you're doing your dribbling drills, that's game-like. Putting a grocery bag over the top of it isn't affecting it too much to where it kind of floats into a circus act. You know, when you throw tennis balls into the ring, and you guys know I don't really love tennis balls. I think that they're a little overrated. It starts kind of veering away from applicability. The trash bag or the bag over the top of your basketball, you can still do basketball things. It's just slightly harder now. But you can see how much the ball is sliding in his hands compared to how much the ball would normally slide. That's the difference that the trash bag, I keep saying trash bag, that's the difference that the bag makes. Is you're not going to have the ball rotate as much in your hand when it's just a normal basketball, but with the bag on there, it's forcing you to keep your hand in a position where you can control the ball for longer because there's going to be more spin on the ball as you're dribbling it. It's going to rotate in your hand more than it normally would because there's less friction, if you want to get all sciencey about it. You can tell I like the bag. I keep talking about it, but I like it. Yeah. So this trainer seems to be wanting to do more than one thing at one time, which is really good when, you have 40 minutes to work with a client and you have to get through a lot of different things all at once. For Anthony Edwards, basically he's putting him through a little ball handling drill, pass back, and then ball handle into your shot. Instead of just doing ball handling segment, shooting off the pull-up segment, he's kind of combining all of those into one that turns into a much more dynamic drill and keeps you from getting into just kind of this mundane rhythm where you're just shooting or you're just dribbling. It's just better, like, game-wise. You don't want to be doing the same thing over and over and over again because in a game, you're not going to be doing the same thing 40 times, 100 times, 70 times. You want to be moving with it, right? There's a time for the mundaneness. In this case, I think that this is a nice little shake-up. Okay. I think that's a good time to wrap it up. Anthony Edwards, for everybody, really good at basketball, has been for a bit, and did some pretty neat things during his workouts. He's got really, really solid fundamentals, And that has shown from the very beginning when he was back in high school up until some of his earlier Timberwolves days and into now. He's a very smooth basketball player. He's got very good mechanics. And frankly, he's just super fun to watch. And I'm excited to hopefully see more of him in the playoffs. And I think also for Team USA, I gotta double check if he's still on the roster. I hope he is. I really do. But that's all we have for today. So like, subscribe. Special thanks from myself. You guys are great. We're having a good time, and enjoy the rest of the playoffs. See you in another one.